What's up, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. How are all you lovely people doing out there? Thank you so much for tuning in to another great epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. Guys, I did this last year and I'm deciding to do it again. We're talking all of the Oscar films that were at least nominated for Best Picture for 2024. I believe this is the 96th Academy Awards. Yes, yes, yes. And this film that we're going to be talking about today is Barbie, part of Barbenheimer. And I can't believe this film made so much money at the box office, too, over $1 billion. And that's definitely something that me and my lovely guests are going to be talking about as well. And as you can see, yes, it is Miss Kimberly Curran from Southern California. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am doing so great. I'm feeling very pink and happy because we're talking about Barbie.
Yes, like I said, I changed up the banner, for this film. I always keep it at the blue, which is my favorite color. Just want to let you guys know that, by the way, if you want to send me something nice. But no, I changed it for Barbie, and I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit, Kim. If you didn't see our other review, guys, check it out. It's on the channel, and I'll talk about that more in the end. But we also the first review we did for these Oscar noms for Best Picture is Anatomy of a Fall or Anatomy of a Fall. And I enjoyed that film. I won't say too much here. You can go check out our review. But after we was done, when we turned the cameras off and we was just chopping it up a little bit, you was like, Brandon, let me know. I had fun. Let me know if you want to talk about any other films, especially Barbie, because I have some commentary. I have some things I want to say and get off my chest. And I remembered, and I was like, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? What did you have to say? I'm pretty sure that she enjoyed the film, but maybe there are some things that she didn't really care for either. And I'm curious to know. And so that's when I was making notes. I was like, I got to ask you, hey, do you want to do Barbie? And you said yes. And so I'm really, really happy about that. This is the first time I reviewed the film on my channel. I did see it originally in theaters. I didn't do a review for it. I didn't write a review or make a video for it on YouTube. I did just like a little short 30 seconds, 90-second out of theater reaction. So this is actually my first time reviewing the film. Of course, you're going to get my 2 cents on that. But before we do all of that, guys, again, this is Oscars. They're going to be going live March 10th. That's Sunday at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. PST. And just to let you guys know, I am going to be doing a Oscar recap, not that Sunday, but the following Monday, March the 11th at 6:30 p.m. CST. So about all the wins, all the losses, all the snubs, if any at all. So Sunday, of course, the Oscars is going down. But that following Monday, March 11th, 6:30 p.m. CST, I'm going to be going live to recap everything that happened at the ceremony. And so, come through and check that out. And just, let me clean house a little bit. By the time you see this film would have been out for about a week now. But check out my Doom review. And guys, me and Kim are reviewing Shogun. This is my review for the first 10 episodes, non-spoilers. But we got our episode 1 recap, me and Kim. Also, our episode 2 recap. Link is in the description. And by the time you see this, episode 3 would have come out by now. But let's go ahead and talk about the title of this film, Barbie. Enough of me cleaning house. I will say this off the top. This film, 8 Oscar nominations. 8. And that is very surprising for me, Kim. Now, when I saw this film in theaters, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. My expectations were mediocre. I'm really surprised. I don't want to say really. Well, I am surprised that it made this much money at the box office. This is amazing. So I'm glad that it made a lot of money. I'm glad for, the director, Greta Gerwig, and people think that she was kind of snubbed and all that. We're going to be talking about that too. But I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I don't think it was a good movie. I think it was a great movie. Does it deserve to be nominated for Best Picture? And does Ryan Gosling deserve to be, for Best Supporting Actor? I'm going to talk about that. But just off top, I really did enjoy this film. I've seen it twice by now at this recording. And worldwide, of course, it made all this money. I mean, it's beloved for the most part. I don't know what it's on Rotten Tomatoes. I can look it up. But Where are you at on Barbie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere between? Are you like, why they got nominated for 8 nominees? What's going on? They tripping, they drunk, they da 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 da. Like, I have no idea. I think you liked it, but where you at on that?
You know what? I did like the film. I liked the film, and then there were several things that I so strongly feel against. But overall, I liked the film. And as somebody who, I have to say, when I got to the age where my mom was like, "Hey, you want to keep these Barbies, or are you ready to throw them out?" I remember throwing out my Barbies, and I was like, "Let me just count them." Do you know I had 112 Barbies?
Oh my God.
When I say that I grew up on Barbie, like I for sure grew up on Barbie. I had the dream house. I had the car. I had the Barbie that tans. I had the Barbie that you pull her hair and it grows. I had a midge. I had all the Barbies. I had so many different Kens. I definitely like there were so many things I was so excited to see in this film, especially when those photos leaked of them rollerblading. I was like, I had those rollerblades, and for anyone out there who also had them, if you remember, they used to spark. So if
Mm.
you like went real fast with your Barbies, the rollerblades would spark. And I this is kind of off topic but funny. I remember pretending to smoke a cigarette with a blade of grass, and I used the rollerblade to light my cigarette because I was like, "Oh, it sparks. It can start a."
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. I'm
When
not.
I tell that right there gave me all the feels when I saw that photo. I remember texting my sister a print screen and being like, "Girl, the Barbie movie is about to be lit," and we were like, "Oh my god!" And we just started talking about memory after memory. Like, do you remember when we put lotion on our Barbies and sat them in the sun so they could get dark and get tan, and then they burned and got all crispy and weird? Like, we had so many. I have so many wonderful memories of my Barbies. And to say, like, honestly, like, for a lot of women and some men, Barbies really did shape us and how we thought of ourselves or how we thought of perfection or the female body. You socially, you played with so many things. Like, my Barbie's mad at you and they're not talking. Like, I just remember socially addressing so many things like, oh, there's conflict here, so you act that out with your Barbies, or oh, I like this boy, so now your Barbies are kissing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I truly lived through my Barbies. So I was so excited for this film. Um, I loved it for the fact that it captured the whimsical imagination of Barbie. I loved it for the fact that, like, Sarah Greenwood and Katie Spencer, they did the production design, and let me tell you, they captured my heart. I was like, of all the times that you would look at your Barbie dream house, I had the apartment where you pull the string and the elevator goes up.
Hmm.
Boy, I was doing the thing with my Barbies. I had the Barbie Us Explorer. All of the things that shaped my process of imagination when I was young. These amazing set designers did their thing. It was so incredible what they created, honestly. So for production design and costume design, 100% they deserve to be nominated.
Yeah.
If not, I know they're up against some great competition, but creating that world that millions of girls, and not just my generation, my mom's generation, Barbie is generational.
Hmm.
It's just something that many of us went. It was a phase that we can all share. Black, white, Asian, Pacific Islander, whatever you are, you knew when you were excited about certain Barbies. I remember when a dark skinned Barbie came out, and we were so excited because we were used to like the black Barbies that were like lighter, more fair skin, but we're like, wow, look at her deep chocolate skin. Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I think her name was Kenya. It was the Kenya Barbie, which Issa Rae, I was like, in the movie, it obviously she's named Barbie, but I called her Kenya
Hmm.
because I'm like, no, no, no. To me, she's Kenya because I remember my Kenya Barbie. They captured that world in such an incredible way, and the details. I saw the movie twice, and the last time I watched it, I was just watching for the details. Barbie's brush, her the way they twisted her back into the box with those white twisties. You knew you were ripping open those white twisties when you had your Barbies in the box. And they just captured this world, her outfits, the fashion, in such a beautiful, whimsical way. Even the fake waves that Ken bounces off of when he's like, I beach. That's what I do. I beach.
Mhm.
And then he tries to run into the water. Yeah, that's my scene right there. Even those waves, like, just so delicious and yummy and beautiful. I just loved every bit of it. And the times where they were in Barbie Land, it was funny and it was enjoyable. So then we get to the other part of how I feel about the film.
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Okay.
let me jump in here. I,
Yes.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you said. I love your passion. I love your enthusiasm, and thank you very much for the backstory that you're linking it to the movie. That's wonderful. You talked about the production design from Miss Sarah Greenwood and Katie Spencer. Yes, I agree. At the very least, they definitely do deserve to be nominated for that category because they knocked it out the park. The first third of them. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, the whole thing for the most part. It got a little. I'll talk about the ending. But the beginning of it was my favorite part. Just that whole design of Barbie Land. It was beautiful. It was very, very creative, unique. It's never anything that I've seen before, ever. It was creative. It was silly. It's my sense of humor. I connected with it in so many different ways.
And
Even
Lizzo's song, Lizzo kind of narrating through song, like, "Ooh, girl, you okay?" Like that was so
I
funny.
mean, I even love this little dance number at the very beginning. Ken,
Oh, I love that.
and I come over. Oh, I don't have many plans. I'm just gonna have a bunch of friends come over, all the Kens, all the Barbies, and we're gonna have a dance choreography number. And when I was watching this both times recently and in the theaters, I was smiling ear to ear. I was wishing that I could get an email one day like, hey man, we're about to put on this performance and dance and jump around all silly with crazy smiles on our face. Do you want to be a part of it? I would say yes in a second. I wanted to be a part of this dance number. I'm serious because that's just my personality. Guys really can't see it when I'm doing reviews and recaps and stuff like that. But I love little stupid stuff like this. I mean, I try to sing and dance. Well, I don't dance, but I sing being silly in some of my videos. But I'm always doing little crazy things like this. And I thought this movie was very, very creative, very, very out of the box. Just seeing Barbie, hey, it's all about imagination. So you don't have to walk down the street. You can just it's all about imagination as she floats from the roof of her house to
That
the
was so
bottom.
fun.
Or when she's walking and her feet are
The way
always like
her
she's
feet were.
in heels or something like that. When she's taking a sip of water, nothing is coming out, but they're playing it like it's so real. It felt like Barbie Land was real. I mean, I don't know. They need to build an amusement park so I can go visit it sometime somewhere. Warner Brothers, or
Right.
do that. I will give you my money happily without a problem. I go make it in LA somewhere, but I enjoyed it. It was funny. I mean, Alan, this character here,
Alan. Oh my God. Alan.
it's so random. Everybody has a duplicate except for him. And I even like the beginning. Since the beginning of time, there's always been dolls, but there was
That was
always
so
babies.
perfect.
Yeah, so little girls can only play mothers, and then all of a sudden, Margot Robbie pops up, and they're destroying all the. I mean, I
That
love.
opening was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was.
Brilliant opening because it was true. It was like there's dolls, and then when you saw, I'm sure in the 50s when they were like, but this one's got a bathing suit in her hair. I'm sure it was like,
Yeah.
Barbie. That's so fun.
You also said something of how Mattel and Barbie really shaped our mind on how we see ourselves or how we should be. And it did some damage, but I liked the way that this film addressed it. You had every color in the rainbow as far as race and ethnicity for the most part. You also had, different shapes and sizes, and it was a bit on the nose. It could have been smoother as far as the message is concerned. Like, a woman can be anything they want. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I know some other people was like, oh my God, they just kind of shoved it in your face. I'm not. It could have been smoother, but it didn't bother me. I did appreciate it, but at the same time, especially in the beginning, I think they was just really doing that on purpose. I think that was the point. I'm pretty sure the filmmakers, Greta Gerwig, the director, was self-aware. You know, she knew that people would, well, some people, a small handful of people, would have a problem with it, and she was doing it on purpose to kind of give them the finger. And that made me chuckle on the inside as well. You know, I'm just saying, like, hey, we're gonna do our thing. You know, I don't care what you think. This is not for you, but if you happen to see our film, you know, in your face. So I liked all that. There's really, I don't really have a complaint for the most part. I mean, I do, but I'll save it. I know that you was about to transition to some things that you just wasn't too thrilled about. So I want to pass it back to you because I'm really, really curious on your thoughts as far as that's concerned.
Well, I mean, I gotta, I so agree with you on the first part. I so agree with you on the first part. Just bringing that whimsical nature of Barbie and making, because we all, like me and all my friends, we all dreamed of, like, we didn't know what an art installation was, but I'm sure if you had something that we could buy tickets to that looked like that, are you kidding me? Are
Hmm.
you kidding me? So they created that world. Um, Noah Baumbach, I have to say something about Noah Baumbach. This man really knows how to, I believe he wrote it, write a monologue. I have to look and do my research and see if he did. I don't know if you remember, Laura Dern was in the movie Marriage Story, which starred Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, which he directed. And Laura Dern pretty much got her Oscar nomination because of her monologue. The monologue she did when she was meeting with Scarlett Johansson's character. And here we are again with America Ferrera, pretty much getting her nomination for the delivery of that amazing monologue. I mean, the rest of the movie, her acting was good, but to me, the rest of the movie, if you take out the monologue part, her acting in it wasn't Oscar worthy. But that monologue is what, it's the same thing with Laura Dern. It's like that few minutes, that minute and a half or 2 minute monologue was really what I think got the nomination for her. I mean, I love her and I'm happy to see her again.
Was taking the Barbies out the trance, like, you know, getting them, you know, snapping them. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, we're this, but we have to be perfect, but you
Right.
can't be too perfect and you have to apologize. But oh, like, yeah, that I felt so many notes of that, but I just think that's interesting that Noah Baumbach really did that for Laura Dern in Marriage Story, and now he's doing it again for America Ferrera. And I just think, I don't know. Look, there's several things I wish with this film.
Okay.
Um, I wish they just kept the whimsical nature a little bit more in Barbie Land. And I don't mind that they stepped into the real world. I just wish they would have kept it more about becoming a human. And if you want to drive home a point, I feel like after 2020, there was such an opportunity to talk about what it means to collectively be a human. For me, the preachiness of this man bashing kind of thing didn't sit well with me.
Hmm.
I'm a big believer in we are better together. I don't believe that in order to have girl power, you have to bash men. I don't like that. And I just felt like, and one, this scene, to sidebar, this scene actually upset me quite a bit.
Oh,
And I'll tell you why.
okay.
Because of course you have generations of women that wanted to see the Barbie movie, but of course you have little girls and boys today who are playing with their Barbies. And for a film that is really set in the stage of innocence, that's another thing about Barbie is it's about an innocent time in your life before you were old enough to have real arguments, before you were old enough. We all pretty much played Barbie before life got too real. And I didn't like this scene because it was way too adult, because there were a lot of kids in my theater. I know all generations went to see it. I mean, heck, your 50-year-old grandma went to see it because she had a freaking Barbie. My mother had Barbies. So I know it's generational, but also with all the pink, obviously you're going to draw a lot of children. And I'm fine with, like, films like Toy Story or Despicable Me, or the first one to really do it was Shrek, where they're like, okay, parents, you have to sit through this children's movie. I got a writer that's going to put in some stuff that only you are going to understand. And you know, the kids look up and mom and dad are looking at each other, nodding their head and going, oh my God, right? You know, like I love that there was some stuff for the adults in a child movie. I'm actually fine with that. What I do not like and what really upsets me is when you have something that's for children and essentially, or where you know you're going to have a large child audience and you put something in there that's really sexual. I don't like that. And maybe that's the mama bear in me, maybe that's the Auntie Kim in me. I do not like sliding in sexual humor when there's a bunch of kids in the theater. I think it's sneaky. I think it's I think it's underhanded and quite frankly, it's very Hollywood because it's gross. I didn't like that at all. That you know, there's tons of kids. There were a lot of little 8-year-old girls. I had several groups where I could tell it was like a birthday party because I saw, of course, I'm a day one kind of gal. So I saw opening weekend and I saw a bunch of little groups of girls. I knew they were going home to have a sleepover. Everyone was wearing pink, and these were elementary school girls. And what do we do when we love a movie? We quote it back to each other.
Right.
So you know you have children in the theater. And you know they're going to be quoting your movie if you've done your job and doing any good. And within the first 20 minutes, you have a scene where it's like, I'll beat you off. Well, I'll beat you off. Well, I'll beat you off. I didn't like that.
I was going to ask you
Because
a question
here's the
that's
thing.
there.
You and I can laugh about it.
Right, right.
But because if it was a film that was exclusively for adults, of course, laugh freely about it. I'm not against adult humor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when you make a movie where you know a lot of children are going to be there, to have something so explicitly sexual, because what are kids going to leave going, oh, remember when they said this, remember they said this? They don't even know what that scene means. And kids were going, well, I'll beat you off. Well, I'll beat you off. And I'm looking at these kids going, this is gross. This is gross. And it's sinister. And I didn't like that.
Well, I definitely agree with you when a film, well, the audience is vast from.
Yeah, it's vast, but it also has kids. So
I agree with you that you shouldn't, kind of sneak the little adult jokes in there when you have a large child audience, and they knew that they would have that. So I agree with you there. When you first said that, I was like, I couldn't remember any just over sexualized scenes or dialogue. But
that was the only one, but it was within the first 20 minutes.
Right. I remember the beach off. And even I kind of got a little like, oh, what are they doing here? That's a bit inappropriate, but I'll give you that, definitely. And so, you're right. I mean,
it's just uncomfortable when you look over and see children.
Yeah.
And they're saying something like that. And you cannot be a creator of this film and go, I didn't know children would be there.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. It's Barbie. Don't act dumb. You ain't new. I don't like that.
I don't understand where you're coming from. I personally liked, when they was in Barbie Land and everything is whimsical, like you said, they actually went to the real world quite early. We got the introduction, but I think the next scene is where she started to, break down and,
get flat feet.
Yeah, get flat feet and, just, malfunction. And so, just things are falling apart and she had to go to the real world. I kind of liked all of this. The way that she was just addressing like, hey, I have a fear, but not in an exact subject matter or line or something she said. And another random extra came like, oh, it's anxiety. I have that all the time. I liked all that.
I would have rather they stuck with just that of like, this is what it's like collectively to be a human. Instead of branching off into, let me tell you what's wrong with men.
I'm gonna come back to that. Did it bother you when they went up to the construction workers and she was like, I don't have a vagina and he doesn't have a penis, and he was like, I have all the. I think your eye roll just answered my question. So yeah, that was I was a bit thrown back by that too. I wasn't offended, but that I just remembered that was a point. I was like, oh, children are gonna be watching this, and so that's and
with writing, you can insinuate a lot of stuff without saying it. Like the first go round, like I think Kate McKinnon said something like, I'd love to see what plastic mass he has in his pants.
Mhm.
I was like, I mean, we all know that Ken had no parts, you know, like we all like I feel like if you want there was a more you could insinuate a bit more about those things because I find that funny. I mean, we all know that we had our Barbies and they had no genitals, like, but it's almost like when you tell a funny joke and you insinuate something, but then you're like, you know what I mean? But what I really mean is penis and vagina. That's what I'm really talking about. It's like, you know what? You were funny the first time. You didn't have to say it because I'm talking about dicks. Like, you didn't have to say it. We got it the first time, man.
Uh, you're hilarious.
Sheesh.
You're hilarious.
That's how I felt is you didn't have to just be like, oh, I have a penis.
I
Come on, man. We get it.
I
We
was
calm down. There's a 6-year-old next to me. Damn.
I was I was also slightly annoyed that Ken, Ryan Gosling's character, was so dependent on Barbie. Like he couldn't exist at all without her. And that's I'm not about to say that there's not a male or a group of males out there that don't exist like that in the world. But it's not that I mean, look, I'm not perfect over here, but I mean you do got your losers out there. But that
Sure.
was a bit over the board, just unrealistic to me. It
Yeah.
should have been turned back just a little bit. And I get the joke, because he goes and when Barbie's trying to find her real life person and he goes into the office building and he's seeing all these things that men have built up in the world and
Horses.
yeah, he takes that back to Barbie land and the patriarchy and all of this. That's not the image. I was trying to let me find it. This one right here where he's just Mr. Cool Dude with the Casa Duo Super House
The Mojo Dojo Casa.
Dojo.
Casa House.
That, that was funny to me, but towards the
That was
very
funny.
end, where Barbie's like, "I'm not in love with Ken," and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with myself. Want to give me a kiss?" I was just like, that was just a bit a little cringe to me, So I really love the beginning of this movie. I really love the second act as well when she went to the real world and they're coming back, and everything with Will Ferrell is funny to me. I'm always gonna laugh with Will Ferrell. I have no problems with that at all. I was laughing my butt off when they was at the beach and all these men were in skates trying to skate and figure everything out when they're running through the office building. I also appreciate
That was fun.
the Ruth was it is her name Ruth Carter? I know her first name is Ruth. I know she passed away in real life, but towards the end, Will Ferrell's character was like, "There's a ghost of the creator of Barbie
Yeah.
the real life person that has passed away. I think she passed away in like 2002.
Ruth Handler.
There you go. There you go. What I say, Ruth Carter. I'm tripping, but I liked all of that. But the Ken thing at the end, what was a bit annoying. And then when they go into like the him just being so dependent on her, like I don't know what to do, and that kind of tied into the male bashing. No man. I mean, again, it just didn't make sense to me. And from a visual standpoint, I just can't imagine somebody looking like Ken or Ryan Gosling simping like that. Not a big deal. Didn't ruin the film for me. I still liked it. But if I'm just talk about some things that wasn't the best in the film, those were one of them. And I'm sorry, I have to say this. I have no earthly idea why in the world this man was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in this movie. That is ridiculous. I haven't even seen the movie yet.
Bruh.
What was the movie? You just oh gosh, Zac Efron.
Iron Claw, bro.
Wow. The
Iron Claw.
performance, was better in the trailers. I have my screener downstairs. I still haven't watched it yet, and he doesn't get any recognition. But Ryan Gosling, I'm not saying he did a crappy job, but come on, man. Like, and look, you put your glasses on upside down. You funny.
Well, here's the thing. My grandfather used to do this thing with my dad where whenever my dad said something stupid as an adolescent, my grandfather wouldn't say anything. He would just slowly grab his glasses, put them upside down, and put them on his face.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to talk to me like a fool, I might as well look like one. The idea of Ryan Gosling, who I love, who I had so much fun with in the film.
Yes.
Out of the casting should get nominated for casting him. He was the best choice for Ken. He was a great Ken. He was hilarious. when he's like sublime. Like he was
Yes.
he was so funny and he
Yes.
was so good, and his body as Ken, because I mean, yeah, you can be like woo 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 his body, but like honestly, Ken was ridiculously chiseled. I'm like, Ryan Gosling, let's go. Right there, that is casting genius.
Yeah.
That's really, that should speak to people about like, what does a casting director do and why do they get awards? This is why. There's a pool of excellent actors out there with blonde hair and chiseled bodies. He was the best pick for
Best.
Ken. The
Best.
song was good, the singing was good,
Yeah.
he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Even when he wasn't speaking, just his little looks, like when Simu Liu was like, "Well, hi, Barbie," and he just looked at him like, "Pish tosh." Like, he was so great. When he put on 2 pair of glasses, I was done. When he put on the glasses and put on the glasses again, I was done. He
Yeah.
was so great, but let me say this, he it wasn't Oscar worthy.
No, it was not.
It
It was
wasn't Oscar worthy.
not
When I
remotely.
saw Iron Claw, I was like, "Wow, Zac Efron." We went from High School Musical to this. This is the point where you go from just being that funny guy in movies to Oscar nominated so and so.
And I know he was the lead in that movie, but still, you know.
He was a lead in the movie. I mean, he was a lead, but he was one of 5 brothers, so I don't
Mm.
know if you would categorize that as supporting, but I think you could categorize it as supporting because the movie wasn't centered around him. I mean, he did such a phenomenal job in Iron Claw. I had so much respect for him. In Iron Claw, it made my respect for Zac Efron because we all know him as the kid that sings and dances and he's cute. You know, Baywatch, all that fun. Like Zac Efron, you know you're gonna have fun.
Mhm.
You know you're gonna have fun. You know the acting's not gonna be bad. And don't even get me started on his singing and dancing because the kid is too cute. I mean, the man is too cute. He deserved the nomination.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, you did a great job, dude. Oscar nominated? I don't think so. This is the kind of stuff that makes me lose faith in the Oscars totally, wholly, and completely.
Yeah.
And I want to back up to what you said about the way they portrayed him as, I get the point they were making about in terms of merchandising, it all started with Barbie. It's not like it started with Ken and then someone was like, let's take a rib from him and make a woman. It started with Barbie and then she got her kid sister and then she got her boyfriend and then she got that. But it started with Barbie. I totally think it's fine that they were driving home that point. But to me, they were insulting men. It was an insult. And to me, it gets on my nerves because as a woman, it bothers me when people try to tell this narrative that women cannot be powerful unless you're stepping on a man. Women cannot have camaraderie and girl power unless we're making men seem stupid. This is the problem. And I'll try to keep it to movies, but like I feel like this is the problem in the world is that we aren't talking about how we are all better together, how we complement each other, how you have something and you have something and together we are whole and together we can do this. Why didn't they take the direction of like, okay, yeah, so merchandising wise, it's all about Barbie and then there's Ken. I get that. But you know what? Together, what did you have? And I can tell you as a little girl, when I got the Ken doll, now I had a family.
Mhm. Mhm.
So together, and then together they did this, and you have the camping trips and the Ken and Barbie do rock climbing, and Ken, you merchandise all the coupley things. Why can't we talk about how beautiful we are together? I reject the idea that women are only powerful if you're stomping on a man, because what our world needs is to come together. There are way too many things dividing us right now. Way too many things. And this and and for me, this film, you have this whimsical idea that so many millions of us grew up with, and you took it and you hijacked it to shove and preach down our throats your own personal hatred. I feel like for men and patriarchy and what they stand for, and
Yeah.
also is a lie about women. I'm
I
not under anyone's thumb. It's a free country.
okay.
Brandon, I owned a company for 13 years. Before I got into film and television, I was a wedding planner for 13 years. I started my company when I was 19 years old. And I
Nice.
got to the point where I was on the design team for the Golden Globes. And I had done a Real Housewives of Orange County. I worked on Lori's wedding. I had done Indian weddings that were about 500 to 800 guests, $2 to $3 million. I owned a company that I started when I was 19 years old. This is a free country. I started a company because I wanted to. I didn't have to, I wasn't under anyone's thumb. My company did well for 13 years because I felt like it, because this is America and I can.
So much.
So driving home this idea that I'm still under the great thumb of the male, I felt like you're trying to drive this feminist narrative, but what you're actually doing is pushing us back, trying to tell girls they're not free. I'm not gonna tell you how. I mean, I'm almost 40, but look, that was 20 years ago. I had my company. I wasn't under anyone's thumb. No man was telling me I couldn't do it. No man was like, I mean, company. Blah, blah, blah. I don't like this preachy, pushing it down your throat. You took a movie that had so many great memories attached to it, and you pushed down our throats this narrative of division that was insulting to men and it was insulting to women, and it completely insulted the ideology that we can work together and that we are better together. And for that, that pissed me off about this film. And that made me walk out of the film and go, God, there was so much I loved. I walked out as if I had ate something bitter. There was something in my mouth that had such a terrible aftertaste about this film, because for me, they didn't ruin everything about it. Like, you cannot, like Katie Spencer and Sarah Greenwood, you cannot take away the hard work they did in production. But I walked out of that film going, damn, you
Okay.
really spoiled it for me.
I got you. So I definitely want to hear from you guys out there in the comment section, in the replay chat, about how you felt about the movie, and my commentary, but especially Kim's commentary on the point that she just made. But yes, I agree with you, Ryan Gosling. I know you're watching right now. I'm joking, but like Kim
Never
said,
know.
perfect casting, and you did a great job in this film. Fantastic. I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed everything for the most part, other than I enjoyed you, but not the way he was written at certain points. But yeah, I agree with Kim. I just feel there was so many other people that should have took your place as far as the Oscar nomination. Like, I just feel that they was robbed, and I do agree with you. This is one of those reasons why you may sometimes can't take the Oscars seriously. And I just think this was like, okay, this movie made $1.4 billion worldwide. Viewership is down. Let's not give this, and I'm not saying that all the nominations were not worth it, but let's give Ryan Gosling an award or nominate him so that we can get more views or something like that. And I don't even think Margot Robbie was nominated for
She
anything.
wasn't.
Yeah,
She wasn't, and neither was Greta Gerwig.
yeah, and I was going to ask you. I mean, I know it's male and female, and there may be other women nominees that beat Margot Robbie in other films, but she was lightning times better than Ryan Gosling as far as a performance is concerned in this film. Real quick, real quick. Are you up? Well, I also want to say this: from when this was nominated for Best Picture, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, whoa, what the hell? This is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I can understand. I want to watch it again. I can watch it again. It's just one of those movies you can watch over and just have fun with it. Whether you're by yourself, you got friends over, have it playing while you're cooking, or it's a fun, great movie. But for me, at the very least, what you have to be considered for a Best Picture, whether it's one person or the entire cast, is fantastic acting, best of the year. While I enjoyed this film, none of the performances knocked my socks off. None of them in the movie blew me away. Margot Robbie had a great one, but it just was. I wasn't like, God damn! Did you see Margot Robbie and Barbie? Ooh, snap! She was cold. Nobody, even though it was a great film. I'm not hating on the movie, so I'm just like, why was this film nominated? I don't get it. And I know a lot of people were upset about Greta Gerwig not being nominated for this film for Best Director, and they got all these other nominations. Why didn't she get this? I mean, it just while Barbie is a fantastic film, Best Picture and Best Director, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So before we head out of here, I kind of want your thoughts on that, and also your final thoughts. Anything else you want to get off your chest, and we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I agree. Great movie overall. I obviously have my feelings about it. Um, Look, I've had movies that I walk out crying, laughing, where I'm just like texting friends like quotes from the movie and getting back ha ha ha, girl, that was so funny, that was so good. I love this, I love that. Also, to me, this took down the seriousness of the Oscars to nominate this as Best Picture. And also, you have to consider who you're up against. To put this up against Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer is
Right.
ridiculous. The
Yeah.
Oscars should be about a film that made you like. When you think of Oscars, I think of Schindler's List. You take down the seriousness of the Oscars. The value comes down. It's like giving a diamond to everybody. It's not rare anymore. If you're going to hand them out like that, then I guess it's just not rare anymore because a great movie, ridiculous to nominate it for Best Picture. The only nominations it absolutely deserves is set design and production. That, yes, because to deserve, I'll make this quick. To deserve an Oscar, you need to make me lose myself in a part of the film. That's
Hmm.
why Meryl Streep has, she probably makes wallpaper with her Oscars. She has so many because in every role, I never see Meryl Streep. When she played Julia Child, I was like, all I see is Julia Child. I don't see. I know it's Meryl Streep, but I'm lost in her performance. I was lost in Robert Downey Jr.'s performance. The world of Barbie, I was lost in it. 100% you deserve an Oscar. And everything else, you are taking up space for another film that made me lose a piece of my soul and have something new to put in my soul. Holdovers, it touched me in a really deep place. Oppenheimer, I just was transformed with
Hmm.
Oppenheimer.
Hmm.
Iron Claw, which I believe deserved a nomination. Honestly, Best Picture. Why not? I think you take away the seriousness. I expect to see the next Despicable Me movie nominated for an Oscar based on um, the scale that they're measuring things on. In this case, let's nominate Troop Beverly Hills. Let's nominate Clueless. Why not? You're giving them out like candy. Um,
You're
that's
hilarious.
my thought. Last thoughts. I really don't need to reiterate anything. That's how I feel. A movie should really bring people together. And I feel like at the end of the day, this movie made women, if you were in my age group, you went and had cocktails and talked about how much men suck. If
Okay.
you were young, you were talking about, yeah, because I don't like Bradley and Scott because it wasn't anything that made you go, yeah, we're better together. It made you hate on men. And
Already.
I got three nephews. I got a father. These boys got to come up in the world. They're growing. They're getting bigger. And I don't like, and everyone's like, why do you care about men so much? I have these beautiful babies in my life that I hate how you're making the world, you're suggesting the world see them. That's not
Already.
cool. And as a woman, I found it insulting. I really found it offensive, honestly. And people might be like, damn, she got feelings about this. Yeah, I do, because Barbie was a huge cultural moment and you knew that and you were manipulative with it and you were preachy with it. And you had some things that were over sexualized for the young audience. And so I have very aesthetically, you blew my mind. And the tone of the writing, don't you don't deserve the nomination at all.
Thank you, Kim. Last thing I'm gonna say is this scene right here, I enjoyed, but I thought it was too long. If I have to give this a rating out of a 1 out of 10, I'm kind of in the 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Kim, if you want to throw a rating out there, you can. But guys, that is it. That is going to be our thoughts for a Barbie Oscar nominated film for 2024. It's going down live Sunday, March 10th. And March 11th, Monday, the next day, I will be doing a recap of everything, all the wins, all the losses, surprises, all of that good stuff. Miss Kimberly, before we head out of here, why don't you give me 30 seconds, let the good people know what you got going on your lovely channel over here.
Hi guys, so I've got a lot of wonderful content on my YouTube from the past 2 years, but the new content coming up will be my podcast, The Film That Made You ... If you have an experience or a story, anyone that you know of that was so inspired by a film that they made a major life change, please reach out to me. I would love to have you on my podcast. And you can find me on Instagram at wasgoodkimberly.
Right on, right on, right on. And yeah, help me reach 50K. I'm about 270 subscribers away. But if you've never seen my channel before, I got movie reviews, spoiler movie reviews, series reviews, a weekly comic book superhero live show, a weekly movie news roundup show, and right now I'm covering Hulu and other stuff as well. And so check your boy out and give me a thumbs up and a lovely comment. But guys, again, yeah, subscribe as well because we got other Oscar nom films right now. Me and Kim also did Anatomy of a Fall, and I got some other Oscar recaps with other friends, colleagues, family of mine. But guys, before we go, just want to thank you again for tuning in. And don't forget, I'm B. Avery. That's Kimberly, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.